Hello, Internet. Welcome back to our golf course scenario playthrough. I really ought to give these some more inventive titles, I think would be more appealing to people. In the last episode, we cleared a section of town over here, and it involved quite a lot of shooting. There's really not much in the area that we would want. We will check the garage for a welder, I think would be the best possible thing we could hope for. More likely, it probably doesn't have much that we would want. There might be a generator or something. Otherwise, it's just more town. You know, this grocery store we were going to check out is looted and had nothing in it. We'll check the pizza parlor, but odds are good that the food there is rotten as well. And here we found this fire engine, which we are going to retrieve lots of goodies from. But for now, we're going to go back to base and drop off some of our stuff. We also don't have a spear on us. We did drop it whilst we were fighting. So we are a bit reliant on our gun. I hear my neighbor's children outside. We had a lengthy discussion about them in the last episode. So now I'm guessing that they're going to be extremely loud and disruptive. Hopefully, just what are you going to do? We're just going to keep playing because I've already started recording and it's too late now. So drop all of our goodies here. We didn't find much that we really wanted, to be honest. We should reload our clips while we're here, our magazines while we're here. Let's go ahead and, how do we do this? Interact with this, go to reload is the easiest way to do this. Stanag is reloaded, excellent. Reload, and then we will reload our gun as well from our pack, and then reload that magazine as well. Great, back up to 120 rounds on our person, and we only have 1,300 left. Oh no. What are we going to do? Okay, so let's go down and loot this fire truck. Can we use auto move? I don't think there's anything dangerous down there. Save me a few key presses, and we'll head over to the fire tank here. Fire engine. Firefighter helmet. You know what? We'll just take basically everything, because they, at bare minimum, will give us a lot of valuable materials. We can get Nomex and things from them that we can then use to repair these firefighter gear should we want to do that later. And we, oh, no, don't take me on the main road. See, why are you pathing like that? Okay, so auto move is not going to help me here. Almost auto moved through town. Would have been bad. Auto move does stop you in the event that you see enemies, but it is very finicky, so could easily end up getting ourselves in a lot of trouble. So let's drop all this stuff. Yeah, I did, in order to try and tamp down on the sound from my neighbors, I have hung blankets on my windows. I have these nice thick blankets that I don't use anymore, so I'm hoping that those will cut down on the sound. Should have done that a long time ago because I work at night, so blackout curtains are pretty valuable. But I only have one blackout curtain, and it's not very thick, and I just never got around to buying other ones. I probably should have hung something a long time ago anyway. So that is nice that I will now have... What did you have? You have a regular... No, that was a high-powered battery. We should take that. A high-capacity battery. So let's take that. And we'll head back to base and drop off the rest of our loot. And then we will go back. We'll look at the garage. We'll grab our spear, things like that. Off we go. Yeah, so hopefully that helps with the noise a little bit. Thankfully, the mic doesn't pick up everything, so unless it's loud like a motorcycle or a lawnmower, shouldn't be too big of an issue. Hopefully the kids are not going to be picked up that much by the mic, but they completely disrupt my thought process. But let's not talk about that again. In fact, let's get ourselves a question here so we have something to talk about. Since I've been talking about myself in the last couple episodes, why don't we have some topic of conversation? What did you want to be when you were little? Oh, well, every kid goes through phases, right? Everyone wants to be a myriad of different things. That's one of the benefits of being a kid, is that you have no idea what the real world is like and have no idea what to do with yourself. So I believe when I was a wee lad, I wanted to be a preacher, is what my family tells me when I was a little boy, because I guess I went to church in like second grade. Oh, we didn't clear here. I'm going the wrong way. Because we came down and went across. So, yeah, I think there was quite a few back here. Oh, let's fall back. Maybe it won't draw too many, and we'll go down and try to get our spear. We don't want to just shoot everything. It's just not prudent to do that with a limited supply of ammunition. So we'll go back and try to retrieve our spear. There could still be other enemies lingering, but I think we'll be okay. Yeah, everything's pretty clear. So here's our spear. Let's pick this baby back up. Don't drop the M4. Wear the M4. And then we'll go back and deal with the one that's trailing us, just to get that out of the way. Where are you? There you are. Drop our bag. And engage. Again, we are 25% slower than usual due to our weariness, but should not be a huge issue. We do need to think about turning in for the day here before too long. Can't pick up the nail gun. It appears to be 17 inches long. Is that correct? You would think it'd be about just a little bit larger than a handgun, which I apparently dropped my 1911s. Oh, it's in my backpack. Of course. So pick up the backpack. There we go. So we have our 1911. You would think, I mean, obviously it's bigger than, oh, but it's because I didn't have my backpack. Oh, it's still too large, even for a backpack. See, now that seems silly. Even with a magazine, a nail gun 100% would fit in a backpack. Even like the pneumatic ones that, you know, have tubing and stuff, like would be able to coil up and fit in a backpack. So that's a bit peculiar. Take the road map, of course, we'll read that immediately, so that we can get some road maps. I believe because we've already had maps that it's pretty irrelevant, because we already knew where most of these locations were. That's part of why we settled here in the first place, is that it's such a huge town we might not ever have to leave. We will probably play the rest of the game in this location without issue. Yes, so as a wee lad, I wanted to be a preacher, I guess. They would take us to church occasionally when I was in like kindergarten, first, second grade, somewhere in there. And the pastor that I had at the time was a very nice man. He and his wife were very kind to me. The church was very kind to me. I was a kid in a bad situation, and those people were very, very nice and generous. And that really spoke to me as a kid. So I kind of looked up to that and wanted to be that as I got older. Then as I grew older, kind of distanced myself from relationship. Man, a Kevlar vest is like so good to have. That's really nice that we found a Kevlar vest. We are definitely going to be wearing that. We will need to secure something to wear as a, I mean, it's so lightly encumbering. We wear it under our motorcycle armor. Let's take off. Do we have any under gear on our torso? Nope. So that's just free protection. It's such low encumbrance. You know, Kevlar vests are designed to be something that you can wear, I mean, maybe not comfortably, but it's something that's designed to be worn under jackets and coats and things like that. So it is a lower layer item, and they're, as far as I know, they're not super encumbering. They're not supposed to be super encumbering. So Kevlar vest is pretty fantastic. Only for 5 encumbrance, we get quite a lot of protection. Obviously, it only covers the torso, does not cover our arms or anything. And the motorcycle armor is fine. Is fine for our arms for the time being. Eventually, we will migrate to proper arm guards, but that's quite a ways away. And then most of our torso encumbrance comes from the backpack, which was color-coded green. Why were you color-coded green? Why is my torso green? What does that mean? Oh, that's the layer it's currently on. Gotcha. Okay. Anyway, Kevlar vest in a police van. Pretty great find, honestly. So let's push towards this garage. There is a small horde of enemies. Fat zombies and standard zombies. Let's see if we can get a few of them to trickle over here. There's one. One will do for now. Seems to be very slow. Must be a regular. Actually, they're both about the same speed. Fat zombies probably are a little slower than a regular zombie. Let's drop our backpack, as we discussed. And you'll see our torso encumbrance. Oh, it's 40. Why? Because our armor has stuff in it also. How much encumbrance do you gain when you have items in you? It's 28. Where does it say when full? I don't see. Reduce damage because it's damaged. Yeah. Unload. Is there a way? I don't think I can blacklist the whole item. That did not lose us any encumbrance. Why is my torso at 40? It's the M4 is only contributing a few points. 33. It contributes 7 points. Why 7? That's more than I thought it was. Okay, that's fine. So let's try to keep in mind we should drop our M4 as well. Obviously, that makes us more vulnerable in an emergency situation where we would need to pull out our gun. You know, it may even be prudent to just go home. I don't know that we should be clearing a lot. That was a mailman. How about that? I don't know that we should be clearing a lot of enemies when we don't really have, when we're lightly weary and we don't really have a reason to. Like, we don't need to clear these enemies out. I mean, there's nothing over here that's super valuable and time crucial. What we should do, we'll kill this guy, then we'll fall back and we'll loot the pizza parlor and head home, and then we'll deal with the garage in the future, I think. So let's just do that. Probably the smarter way to do things. Okay, are we wearing both of those items? Make sure that we got what we wanted. We are. Okay, so let's just head to the pizza parlor over here and see what that has for us. The subway station does have vending machines. Looks like these are destroyed. These may not be. Yeah, they look like they have items in them. We don't have any cash cards on us. That's okay. So let's just have a look in this pizza parlor. Oh, goodness. Goodness. So I wanted to be a preacher, and then as I got older, I kind of distanced myself from religion in my like preteen years. I started to realize how bad my life was, and it made me very resentful towards any kind of higher power that might have, like, oh, you let this happen to me. Like, I was very much struggling as a kid. No pizzas in this whole pizza restaurant, by the way. Just a lot of flour and things, which is fine, I guess. You know, assuming it's the apocalypse, maybe they were closed down before the world really ended, so there's no pizza laying around. So that makes enough sense to me that I'm okay with it. And there's a cardboard box here. This may have contained a pizza, and the pizza may have rotted away already. So it could be that. So a little disappointing we didn't get more. Obviously, we like getting pizzas because meat pizzas and things have so many calories to them. But I don't have much to complain about. And we got some sausage and some canned chicken. So that is food that we will consume. How many calories are in smoked sausage? Quite a lot. They last for 3 weeks. You know, I think when I started playing Cataclysm, I don't think sausage had an expiration. I think sausage lasted forever. That was a long time ago, though. And obviously, you know, sausage obviously goes bad in real life. What do you have here? Some booze. We'll take some extra beer. Never say no to alcohol, except in real life. Okay, so let's head back to base, and we'll just spend the rest of the evening reading some books and relaxing until some time later, till we can rest and recover from our weariness, which we're very close to moderately weary. So we'd like to avoid getting to that position. So let's go home, let's eat something. We're very hungry, and let's relax for the rest of the evening. As I grew apart from religion, I started to focus more on psychology, was something I was very interested in. Throughout most of my youth, I entertained thoughts of being a writer, but pretty much everyone in my life told me that that's an impossibility. No one becomes a writer, is basically what I was told. You know, it's one of those 1 in a million, you could never make money writing. It just it's not feasible unless you're a journalist. Journalists are where the money is in writing. Which little did they know that print media would collapse and that everyone would use the internet in just a short, like 10 or 15 years. So growing up, I was told basically not to pursue writing. So that was never really a viable thing in my mind. So I was focused on psychology. I thought I would be a therapist or a psychiatrist. I had an interest in medicine, you know, when in my edgy years, I thought, oh, I'll be a mortician or a coroner or a medical examiner, you know, and work with dead bodies. But I live in the middle of the country. There's not a lot of positions for those type of people. So, and it's pretty much locked down to a few families who, you know, like if you go to locally, if you need a mortician or like a funeral director or something, it's usually like a family owned place where it's been in the family for a really long time. And, oh, it's the son is going to take over and stuff like that. So it wasn't really a viable career. So I focused on therapy. I thought therapy would be my future. I've always had an interest in therapy. I remember hearing as a kid some quote where it's like most therapists get into therapy because they're trying to understand what's wrong with them. Like, so you start out thinking like, well, how can I fix myself? And then you find out like, oh, I can work with other people and make a living doing this. So I don't know if that's true, but that's something that stuck with me, I guess, since I remember it all these years later. What pile? Is this my drink pile with like 4 things in it? That can't be right. This is also a drink pile. Did I accidentally separate the perishable and non-perishable drink piles? I did. So let's remove the perishable drink pile. Remove, add the perishable drink pile to the proper tile, and that should be good. And then we'll haul this stuff. Oh, there's no clear path to my unsorted pile. Just take everything and then sort it again. So I had an interest in psychology, and then as I got older into my later teenage years, I again engaged with religion. And I started thinking, like, yeah, maybe I should be a pastor or a preacher. I think that, it made sense to me at the time. It seemed like it combined all the things that I enjoyed. A pastor writes sermons, so there's an element of writing. You write and prepare papers and discussion. You have discussions with people. You write sermons and things that are speaking positions, which I thought would be interesting and fun and give me an outlet for my writing. They speak publicly. I enjoy speaking publicly, although nowadays I'm quite bad at talking in front of other people, as illustrated by my YouTube channel. But it was something I was very interested in and passionate about when I was a teenager. Also, the religious aspect, again, I was getting more and more involved in the church, so I was, pretty happy with the idea of working with religion, for the rest of my life. The counseling aspect, obviously, part of a pastor's job is to counsel with people, to advise people, to talk to people during tough moments, things like that. That has always appealed to me. I'm a very open guy. I enjoy talking to people and helping people as best I can. So that appealed to me quite a lot. It just seemed like a good possible future for me. And then I was not actually being a very religious person. I was actually a very bad person at the time. But that seemed like a possibility. And then, life kind of fell apart. And so I never really pursued anything as a career. But as a kid, yeah, preacher, writer, and then like medical stuff, psychology, psychiatry, things like that, interested me a lot as a child. So that's probably what I aspired to as a kid. I think we'll raise healthcare here. I can't really think of what else to do. Let's read outside. Do we have a chair anywhere? Take ourselves a nice armchair outside, maybe. Have a place to sit in the sun and read. Doesn't look like it. Looks like I've cleared out most of the furniture anyway. I'm sure we could scrounge up a chair. This is so pointless. It does nothing, but fulfills like an RP aspect of my desire. So we'll grab ourselves a sofa or chair of some sort. I'm sure we could probably build one. I don't know that I have materials to do so. Will you follow? No, you don't act like a vehicle. You pull like furniture, which is kind of hard to maneuver. So that's not great. So that's what I wanted to be. And then as I got older again, and I started to face kind of the realities of my life, maybe not going the way I had hoped it would, with consequences for things that I did and just general life kind of changing around me, started thinking about content creation. I started thinking about YouTube because I thought initially my plans around YouTube were to involve my writing as part of my content. Sorry, now I have my own family yelling in the house, so that's exciting. I one of my first ideas for YouTube content was supposed to be writing content. I had planned to write a novel and record the entire process and then put that up on YouTube. But then once I started learning more about YouTube, I thought that no one would actually care about that. And I still think that that's true. There is a thing, if you're interested, called it depends. Some people call it BookTube. Some people call it AuthorTube or WriterTube. There are YouTube channels devoted specifically to writing. They're not the kind of content I like or would make. Like a lot of them when I go, like, don't get me wrong, there are people who are like, today we're going to learn about character development and writing more realistic dialogue. And there's like actual actionable stuff. But a lot of those videos that I've seen are more like some middle-class white lady fixes herself a coffee, sits down with a laptop, and then time lapses her writing. I don't think people really want to watch that. I don't think that that's very entertaining, or it's not for me. Like, okay, you know, they're probably successful doing it. A lot of those, actually, they're very small. There are very few large booktube channels, as far as I can tell. The biggest ones I've seen have maybe 100,000 subs, which is like pretty low for like being the biggest person in your category. Like if you think about like the biggest gaming YouTubers, they probably have 30 or 40 million subs. So when the biggest person in your space is only about 100,000 subs, that's usually a pretty good indicator that it's not hugely in demand content. No judgment against those people. 100,000 subs is still huge compared to what I experience, you know, in my own channel. And I'm not trying to disparage if you make a living doing that. That's fantastic. But I don't find that very entertaining. And I don't know that I would enjoy making that kind of content. And I don't think that there's a huge demand on that type of content. So, yeah, probably not going to happen. And I've done the short story thing. There are channels that are very popular that just basically is a guy reading you a short story. I've seen some where they just find stories on Reddit and then read them out loud. I don't know the legality of that. I don't feel like that's fair use. I feel like you're just taking someone's content without their permission and then turning it into you reading it out loud is not fair use. You're not actually changing it enough. It's not a critique. It's not, you know, it's not really fair use. It's just you stealing someone's work. So I don't support those channels either. And I've done the short story content on YouTube, and people didn't really. Don't get me wrong, the story wasn't very good. It was my first, you know, attempt at making something like that, but it just didn't do very well. I don't know that I would revisit it. Maybe once I had a lot more viewers, I would, because people would be more likely to watch it. But yeah, my first experience with that wasn't great. So. But yeah, now I want to be a YouTuber. Hooray. I actually would like to be more than a YouTuber. Like these videos that I make like this, they're not really going to ever amount to a whole lot. Like I'm just a gaming YouTuber. I do a lot of things wrong. I'm very small, and I probably will be small for many years. My desire is always to expand. I would like to, you know, I started writing some scripts. I was going to put up a couple courses on like Udemy or something like that. I might start a different channel where I talk about more educational stuff that's unrelated to my gaming content. Obviously, for the purposes of like this channel, it just wouldn't mean much to most of you, but you know, there's still an audience for educational content, much more so even than there is for gaming content. I would like to get some books on Amazon. You know, I have aspirations. It's just that they're mostly. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like such a fool for thinking that this sort of thing could actually turn into something. And I'm still embarrassed to share my YouTube channel with people. Like I'm in a Discord right now. There's a guy, you know, I don't think I talked about this. Basically over the weekend, I consumed some new content, and the person that made the content is actually someone I've met and spoken to a few times. They're, you know, I don't want to give too many details, I guess. They are like, they're not famous. They're trying to be famous, but they're very tiny, and most people have no idea who they are. And they recently started making some content with a friend of theirs, and I consumed some of the content, and it was mostly good. He and his friend have good chemistry, but they're not doing things the right way. They're making a lot of simple mistakes that new content creators make. So I reached out to this person and I said like, hey, you know, would you be interested in like some tips and kind of like a more professional criticism? Like I've been making content for about 2 years. I can see that you're making some mistakes that I made early, that a lot of people make early. Would you be interested in having like a professional discussion about like trying to grow and improve your content? And basically he said no. Like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't have any interest in criticism or tips. They want this to be a business, but they're making a lot of really clear, simple mistakes that, you know, I think maybe it's just pride, you know, because this person doesn't know that I do YouTube. I just told them I've been doing content creation for 2 years. And it made me realize that, like, I'm not really proud of my own content. Like, I would be ashamed to share with that person my channel because I do a lot of things the wrong way. But I also have like actual insight I think would benefit this person, and they were just like, "Nah, I'm good. Um, you know, don't bring this up again." It was very weird because I thought we were friendly, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It was a weird experience because I was very rarely am I in a position where I can actually educate someone and help someone. Usually I'm I have, don't get me wrong, I'm good at things. There are things in my life that I'm better at than, some random, like anyone listening to this. I might be better at some things that you are not good at, right? But it's rare that I'm really in a position to offer advice and actually like know what I'm talking about. And in this regard, despite the fact that I'm a bad YouTuber and I don't apply a lot of these things to my own content, I know a lot of the theory, and I can definitely hold a conversation with someone who wants to be a professional content creator. And it was a bit interesting. And they just sort of shot me down and said like, no, I'm not really interested in talking about it. And I've listened to more of their content since then, and they're making the same mistakes, which is totally fine. Some people want to learn on their own, or I don't know, maybe they don't think I have anything to offer them. I don't know, but it made me feel weird because I felt like I like this person and they're making mostly good content. They're just making a few small things that I think will hurt him in the long run. And I just think like if you want to do something professionally, you really have to be open to feedback from other people, like I know I'm not a great content creator. I know that I need to grow. I know that I should listen to people who have done this before and know better than I do. I don't know. It was a weird thing, just an anecdote from over the weekend. I think it kind of ruined our friendship as well. Like they just shut me down immediately. They seemed like they were like, and I too, I was trying to be really nice about it. Like I didn't want to, I'm like, cause there are people who are like, just show up and are like, hey, you're doing this wrong. You should do this, this, and this. And I hate people like that. Like who just out of the blue, who don't know what they're talking about, just say like, oh, you're doing things wrong. I know better than you do. That stuff drives me crazy. So when I approached him, I was like, hey, I watched your content. I think it's good. I think you guys have great chemistry. And I offered a little bit of insight because they were talking about something and they kind of got some titles wrong. And I was like, hey, by the way, this thing was actually this. Originally it originated from this. This is a reference to this. If you want to work that into your content, and say where the titles came from. And I was trying to be super nice. I was just like, hey, and also, I've been doing content creation for a little while. I have a few tips, that you might be interested in if you want to have like a professional conversation. I tried really hard to be like super nice, not a douche about it, and he just shot me down. Anyway, this is a long, rambly story no one probably cares about. I don't like that there's dragonflies over here. They're hostile, right? Oh, it's a naiad. They're the ones that can't come out of the water, right? Predatory aquatic larva. Yeah, so we don't have to worry about them too much. I've heard people talk about them. They apparently will absolutely demolish fish if fish are in the same pond. Oh, in fact, I bet that's what this is. Let's manually look at these corpses. Yeah, so it murdered the fish. So that's interesting. People bring them up on Discord sometimes. I don't really care about you. I'm going to just pop in this mechanic shop. Oh, it's locked. Of course it is. Are you reinforced glass? It's a blue wall. It's not even glass. Oh, then how have I seen in here? There's windows somewhere. Here we go. Are you reinforced? Nope. Boop. No alarm, so that's good news. Let's pop in the back, see if we can find ourselves a welder. Bottle jack. Really just looking for a welder. Welding mask is good. Jerry can. Drive belt. Oh, please have a welder. Please have a welder. Bottle jack. Acetylene torch will do, but it's not really good enough. We were hoping for an arc welder. That's fine. We will take the tanks. So these are welding tanks. The actual proper weld. Oh, it is an arc welder. Okay. The battery powered tool is the more important. So basically, the acetylene torch can do things like cut through metal bars and whatnot. and they can be used for welding as far as I know. The problem is we don't have the means to restock our gas. So once we would have gone through the gas, that would have been it. Thankfully, there is an arc welder laying right here that I missed. So we definitely 100% are taking that. We will also take all the medium batteries. They're high capacity as well, which is nice. And if I have space, I would also like to take the acetylene torch so we can quickly cut metal if need be. See a feral human somewhere, not super concerned about that. Welding tanks as well we will take. Oh, and we're out of space. Let's take a trip home. We're definitely going to want all this stuff. Just to have it. If for no other reason than because I'm a hoarder. So let's do that. Anyway, I didn't mean to ramble. I don't know that story even made sense, but there's just an interesting thing over the weekend. I love talking about YouTube and content creation in general. I'm interested in podcasting. I'm interested in making courses for online education. I'm interested in really any element of, I'm interested in creating ebooks and things like that. Anything you can do online, both that can like make you money financially, but also that allows you to create things, I'm all for it. And I really would like to be involved in more projects. And I'm hoping, like with this person, I was hoping that over time, you know, us networking together might actually lead to a collaboration. And now it's looking like that's probably not going to happen. And in fact, it looks like they might even be offended that I tried to give them tips. So just a weird situation. I love talking YouTube stuff. You know, we've done it on the channel plenty of times. I do have some small content creators that watch me, some that are bigger. I, over the weekend, also got a comment from someone on one of my Let's Plays that is apparently like an animator, which I thought was pretty cool. They had more subs than I did. You know, they're in like I forget how many subs they had, but they had quite a lot of subs. I have a thing on YouTube that when people comment or whatever, it tells me how many subs they have right next to their name. So whenever I see a content creator comment on my stuff of any capacity, you know, I'm always interested. I'm always interested in talking to people about these things. YouTube philosophy, the way to do things. Man, there's a lot of gas here that I didn't notice before. So we actually probably could have used the acetylene torch for a long time. We will take a welding mask, and we will take the goggles as well for a lightweight alternative. Man, are these just huge tanks? How big are you? I can fit one. No, I can't. Why can't I fit you in my backpack? It says it fits volume and lengthwise. Inventory. Well, what happens if I drop... Oh, we already have 3 of the huge tanks in our inventory. That's probably why. Okay. I think we have enough. We'll put a note, extra welding gas. And we'll put in parentheses, acetylene. I have no idea how to spell acetylene. Actually, welding gas is fine. I know what it is. It's fine. Just a bit embarrassing to call it welding gas. Anyway, we're going to head back to base here. It's just weird. You know, I always think people always bring up competition when you talk about online YouTube stuff or you know, podcasting. People are always like very competitive. They're always talking about their numbers and oh, well, this person's bigger than me. This person's smaller than me. Or this is my biggest competition. And I just think that that's generally not the way to go. I think that collaboration and generally working together, like a rising tide lifts all ships. Like if I collaborate with a few people and we all make good content together, we will all benefit from that. So when I meet people who are like super competitive about it and can't accept outside help or insight, it just doesn't make sense to me. We should all work together to be better together. So everyone, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.